everybody, it is Chris. It is Tuesday, August the 27th. I got something that when I first read it, I thought I had read it wrong. But the Washington Post, and I'll link to it below, but the Washington Post did a deep dive into who's giving money to who or whom, anyway, in the 2024 election. So I just want to go through the top line number first, because you're going to think I made a mistake. You're going to say, Chris, that seems too high. But no, it is not. And then I want to go through one person who's really worth noting. Okay, so far in the 2024 election, the top 50 political donors, so people who are giving to political causes and candidates and campaigns and that sort of thing, have given a total of $1.5 billion to candidates and causes during that time. That's right. 50 people, $1.5 billion. Okay. I mean, that in and of itself is stunning. But I'm always interested, like, okay, well, who's the biggest, right? And it's this guy named Timothy Mellon, who you almost certainly have not heard of, because Timothy Mellon is the heir to a railroad, oil, and banking fortune. I wish I had been the heir to just one of those. I would take just the railroad fortune, but railroad, banking, and oil fortune. And he has, over the last couple elections, started to give very heavily to Republican candidates, most notably Donald Trump. In the 2024 election, just brace yourself, folks. In the 2024 election, Timothy Mellon has given $165 million by himself to political candidates. Now, who is he giving it to, you ask? Okay, $125 million of that, so the lion's share of it, has gone to Make America Great Again, which is the super PAC that supports Donald Trump. $125 million. Now, he has also given $25 million to a super PAC that supports Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who, if you're following the news, you will know is no longer a candidate for president, but was running as an independent before he endorsed Donald Trump in last Friday. So $150 million to Trump and RFK. That's one guy. So I wanted to do a little bit of digging on who Timothy Mellon is, right? I mean, one guy, $165 million, pretty stunning, all to Republicans, and then $25 million to Kennedy, who I guess we could argue whether he's a Republican or a Democrat or not. All right, so first of all, here's Timothy Mellon's past giving. In 2010, he gave $44,000. I mean, virtually nothing. In 2016, he gave $32,000 to political candidates. Again, nothing. But then in 2018, he started to give. He gave $10.1 million in 2018, $60.1 million in 2020, $41.7 million in 2022, and $165 million so far in 2024. Remember, it's just the end of August. So that's his giving history. Then I was like, who is this guy? Because there's not much information about him. So I found a New York Times profile of him. I'm just going to read a little bit because it's truly amazing. This is the New York Times. Mr. Mellon rarely engages with the news media and did not respond to interview requests. Even some of the candidates who accept his checks have little contact with him. Okay. He has frequently become mired in disputes, some of them oddly small bore and some just odd. In May, the same month he made a $50 million donation to support Mr. Trump, he filed a lawsuit against a family-owned car dealership in Connecticut, complaining that he had spent $7,300 on a failed engine replacement for a 1995 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Incredible. It goes on. This is my favorite part. Brace yourself. Again, the Times. Years ago, Mellon sued a group of explorers he had helped finance, claiming they had deliberately overlooked the wreckage of Amelia Earhart's long-lost plane so that they could keep raising money for their expeditions. Mr. Mellon was convinced he had seen Earhart's head on the seafloor in a cellophane bag. This is why being super rich sometimes is not all it's cracked up to be. Makes me think of Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. Okay, so again, $165 million from one guy who has also financed a campaign to find Amelia Earhart and says he saw her head, but the people he paid to find her are covering up finding her head. So who else gave a ton of money? Well, the Post does, and again, I'll link to it so you can look through the whole thing. The Post does detail the top 10, but let's just go through the top 5. The top 5 people are Timothy Mellon, Ken Griffin, Jeff and Janine Yass, Richard and Elizabeth Uline, and Michael Bloomberg. Now, 4 of the 5, the top 4 givers, are all exclusively Republican givers. Michael Bloomberg, who's probably the only one you know on that list, has given $41 million to Democrats. So what's remarkable is that Mellon has given $165 million. The second highest giver is a guy named Ken Griffin, runs a gigantic hedge fund. He's given $75. So Mellon has given twice as much as even the next big giver. Though a name you didn't hear me say and isn't on the top 10 is George Soros. So if you listen to Republicans, they always say that George Soros and other liberal billionaires are secretly financing our elections. Well, no, they're actually not. Most of the top 5, 4 out of the top 5 biggest givers are Republicans, not Democrats. And Soros isn't anywhere near the top 10. So I guess you could say Timothy Mellon is financing a lot of our elections, but that's not usually what Republicans say. Look, I think there's something fundamentally broken when one person can spend $165 million to support a single candidate when the donation limits that you're allowed to give federally are $2,500. Obviously, you can give unlimited amounts to super PACs. That's how Mellon gets around it. But that's a stunning thing. And remember what I said at the top. The top 50 donors have given $1.5 billion to politicians and political causes and campaigns this election. $1.5 billion. One guy, $165 million. Yeah. All right. As always, I ask you to do 4 things. I ask you to subscribe to my channel. Easy. Hit subscribe. I ask you to like this video. I ask you to comment on this video. And I ask you to tell 10 friends about this video. We are on the march to 40,000. We are just over 37,000, I think, now. The quicker we get there, the better. Trying to grow this thing. Want to get it to 50. 50 is the goal. I think I may get something fancy from YouTube if I get to 50. So 50 is the goal. Let's get to 40 and build from there. Thank you, as always, for your support. I make these videos every single day, so check them out.